of Fishing 101. Alright, the last video we went over choosing the right rod and reel, and if you're a beginner, go with this and that, yada yada yada. I do not want to take up all my time going over this. Alright, we got our board, eraser, and marker. That's all we need. Alright, alright, sit there right there. Alright, now let's get started. Today is on lures. Actually, this is lesson 2. Lesson 2 on lures. I do not know if you can see that very good. I hope you can. But anyway, on lures. First part, we're going to start in on soft plastics. Alright, and then our last video, we'll be doing it on choosing the right hooks and terminal tackle, which is sort of what you have for lures. Alright, so we'll have 3 parts in this series. I'm pretty sure if we had 4 or something like that, don't get disappointed in me. I'm just estimating because it's our first part. Alright, so let's get started on this. Lures. Today, we're starting on soft plastics. So, now, what we're going to do, we're going to make a box and put soft plastics. Alright. That's our topic for today, soft plastics. Now, how do we choose soft plastics? Well, what we'll do, I got my 2 worm file bags over here that Kevin had down, plain old worm file bags right here. Got them full of all my soft plastics. Alright. Well, most of them anyway. I still got some that I don't like to use. But anyway, we're going to choose what it is, how to choose it, the length, the color, and how to work it. Alright, so let's get started. Alright, first we will start. Now, what should we start on? How about we start with the easy thing, the worm. Worm. Alright, now, the worm will look like either, well, this is just sort of a bad drawing. Sort of like that. Or it will look like this. These are the Zoom U tails. They got a bunch of little circles on them. One more circle, and then big old flashy tail. Right there. So this is just a regular old worm, and this is the U-tail. You can work them however you want, but there's 2 different ways you need to work these worms. Number 1 is the U-tail. We'll start with the U-tail. Now the U-tail, it's got a big tail for the action. Alright? You can reel it in if you want to. You're not going to catch much fish because that's not that much action. But really, for this, you really want to use like either sort of pull up on it. That tail will sort of do like that and it'll come back down. What you use a bullet weight, and you can either use a wide gap or a worm hook. It just depends on what you do. I'd probably throw a worm hook on it, but so like that. This I worked mine pulling it up and letting it sink and reeling the slack. Pull it up, let it sink, reel in the slack. That's pretty much how you work it. But you can work it many different ways. You can sit there, you can reel it in, you can do like I do, or, well, you could do like whatever with it. I can't think of many ways right now to use it, but these are just the ways that you can use it. But I prefer to do the up and down. That's what I like to call it, the up and down system. So for this, if you're going with finesse, this is pretty much finesse. If you get a worm out with a long tail, I'd go with the up-down system. Alright, that's what it's going to be called, the up-down system. Now, what you do, it's called up, So that's the up-down system. Now right here, this is where you can work it real good. You can use it as a jerk bait. You can either reel it in, or you can either just do like a sort of reel, pop, reel, pop, pop, reel. Maybe do a couple pops, like you might work your spinner bait or something like that, which that would get the fish's attention. But most people just like to reel it in. You can catch it, just catch some reeling it in. But for me, I don't use these kind of worms that much. So for me, I sort of X them out. You can do the jerk reel system. Well, let's take that back. We'll put reel right there and jerk right there. So it's actually the reel jerk. So you go reel, jerk, reel, jerk, jerk, reel, jerk. And you can do it whichever way you want to. Alright. So that's the worms right there. Now, what we're going to do, there's all kinds. Now we're going to go with the creature baits. So today we're going to go over soft plastics. That means we're going to go over Carolina rigging and things like that. First, we're just going to go over the basic soft plastics, which are worms, creature baits, and lizards. We won't go over grubs because we don't use them that much. Our next one, after this one, will be on making a panic box, is what you need to do. Fishing 101, making a panic box. That'll be our third video. Alright, so what we'll do is now, alright, we've got worm. Let's put worm up there and put a check beside it. Alright, we done did worm. Alright, now we go down here, we got a creature. I think I'm spelling this right. I may not be. Alright, creature bait. Something like a Zoom speed crawl, which is sort of like this. I mean, I'll sort of try to do it, but I doubt it'll look like it. It's how it's supposed to look anyway, and then it's got the little antenna things right there. That's just an example. Let me pull you one out for you guys. Here we go. They're called the Zoom speed crawls. You can catch them on there where I go fishing at. Right there, that's what they look like. But anyway, catch them. They are nice with this thing. I mean, you can just kill it with those speed crawls. But anyway, that's one. And then another one is a brush hog. Let me get out a brush hog for you guys. This is the big brush hog. There's also little brush hogs. Whoops, sorry, but stepped on my tackle bag. I've got them set up down here, right there, at the brush hog. So I'll try to draw one of these out real quick. It'll probably look horrible. Just sort of like this right here. See, it goes down, sort of flaps out like this right here, and then it's got two little tails. It's got one little tail that comes out down here, and then it splits into two. Like this. Whoops. There we go, like that sort of. Alright, so that is a brush hog. Let me put these up. This is the blue sapphire brush hogs. Got a full pack, never used these yet. That's what a brush hog looks like. Them are the creature baits that I would use. Maybe a flipping crawl, but I will not draw that up there. Oops, it was in my bag. Well, my flipping crawls ain't in this. It's just regular worm. Flipping crawls. My Bass Pros are really salty. I'm not going to get them out. But anyway, let me put these up real quick. Alright, but anyway. These are the two basic creature baits that I'll use. I'll sometimes use a flipping crawl. But not as much as these two. Now, how you want to work these? This one up and down. Probably like what you want to do. You can drag it on the bottom if you want to. Let it sink and sort of just drag it across the bottom real slow. Just sort of drag it. What I like to do is use the up and down method. I use the up and down method a lot, and you can really catch them. Brush hogs, same thing. You can drag them across the bottom, but if you do it, you want to do it really slow. So you want a slow gear ratio in that. Or you can do the up and down. So we'll put the drag, and then the up and down and drag. So for these, you do the same thing pretty much. You can drag them if you want to. I don't drag them, but I do the up and down method with a lot of the lures, soft plastic lures. All right. Next, we're going to go over lizards, and then we're going to go over Carolina rigging. Also, for the worms, like those ones that I was telling you about, I might use them for just doing like the reel jerk method, or I'll use the one kind of worm for Carolina rigging. Alright, next, we'll check that off. Put lizard. Alright, lizard. Let me see here. I'm gonna put sea rig already. That's for Carolina rig. Sea rig. Alright, now we're gonna go over the lizard. Lizard, it is. I'm not gonna draw this out. Now I'll try to. Alright. This is looking horrible already. Sort of how they look. Sort of like that right there, and that's sort of their arms. And you sort of go down a little bit. Then you run into their legs. Just sort of going to draw them in there right now. Alright, there's their legs, and you go down, and it sort of goes in like this right here. But it's sort of circular right there, and then it has a tail. Sort of like that. That's a horrible drawing. Alright, that's what they look like, the lizards, pretty much. Up and down method, usually the best thing for a lizard. Down there on Cordell Hole, that right there, ideal for that right there. Alright, so, right there we got that. And we're going to go over color. Well, at the end, I'll tell you how to pick the color of the lures. Alright, so we're going to do up and down. And if you want to, I would take notes if I were you and write them down. And whenever you go out to the lake or something like that, you use these methods, and I guarantee you will catch fish. Alright. Now we got that as the up and down method. This video may be long, but it's worth watching. Then sea rig. What you want to use for sea rig is you want to use one of those worms that I was telling you about, that you can use the reel and jerk, or just the reel. Let me get my eraser real quick. It fell down through here. Get it? There it is. Alright. But anyway, for the sea rig, you usually want to use that. So let me set my eraser right in there. So sea rig looks like this, sorta. You got your. I go with a tungsten weight, which is sort of round weight, and then it goes back, and then it's got a bead on it. Then it's got the little swivel. It's got beads on each end, and then a little swivel right there. Sort of like that right there, and then another bead there. Alright, then you go down. Then you got your lure. So then right here, I put the little worm. So it's sort of like this. Right here. So that's how it sort of looked the sea rig. Mostly when I use a leader, I would suggest you using a leader. The swivel, what you do, you take your line right there, you peg your sinker. Always peg your sinker. Put that down through there, tie the line right there, get you a leader, tie that, and then tie it to the hook. There you have it, there's a sea rig. Alright, now, this is close to the end of our show. Now we're going to be talking about color. We showed you how to work it. Now with a Carolina rig, you want to just drag it across the bottom is what you want to do. Just drag it. Because that sinker will take to the bottom, and that worm will be floating up there. It won't pull that worm down. Alright, so it'll be sitting up there, and you'll be going. The best place to use it is either, let's see, probably sort of a flat out there or a grass bed. You always want to go somewhere where there's either rock or grass bed. You could go to limbs, but I really wouldn't go to limbs. But you can if you want to. Alright, so now we're going to go to color. This will be our last episode. Alright, this is what, not episode, the last subject. Color. Alright, I'm going to write this on the board. Alright, how to choose color. Whoops, let me put an arrow right there and not choose. Choose color. Alright, now, what you want to do is you want to know the color of your lake. Most lakes are dark. If you're going to clear lake, look at what color the bottom of the lake is. Like somewhere like up in Lake Erie or something like that. Real clear, good for smallmouth. Look below and find the color. Like on Cordell Hole in Tennessee, Watermelon Sea, Green Pumpkin, something like that. Ideal for that stuff right there. Don't go out like some guys I know. They go out with a chartreuse pepper lizard, and that's what they'll throw. Alright, they throw them out there, and they'll get one hit, and that's about all they get. They might catch a fish, but sometimes they won't. But really, I've heard people methods. They say use a dark bait on a dark day, and a light bait on a light day, or use a light bait on a dark day, or a dark bait on a light day. Don't use those methods. They're nothing. That's just stupid. Alright? Know the bottom. The bottom color is what you want to know. The color of the bottom. So, if you're fishing finesse or something like that, or a lizard, that thing's going to hit the bottom. And like a crawfish or something in the creature baits, you want to use the right color. Because if you don't, they won't bite it, 'cause that creature bait, they like to blend. Alright? They like to blend in with that. So then they see that, and they see it moving, they see its claws moving, and they'll sort of pick up, and it'll be like it's an injured creature bait. Alright, go up, and then go back down. They'll see that, and they'll think he's trying to get it disguised. And then, right on the fall, he'll be waiting for it to come out in there, and wham, he'll get it every time on the fall. You might get some whenever you just, whenever you're picking up on it, they might be there, but mostly on the fall. Alright, so that's the end of the soft plastics, part 1. This is part 1 of lures. Part 2 will be on hard baits. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you later.